feel tired, exhausted, have low energy, and we are a little bit tired of reacting to things. And it seems that wherever we turn our attention to, there's more to react. And each time we feel more and more depleted in energy, low in mood, and it doesn't feel good. I am sorry if you are feeling low in mood and feel that whatever you turn your attention to is just a source of suffering, of struggle. There are moments where we need to respond, to act in the moment, but more often than not, it is best if we gather ourselves, process our thoughts, our emotions, identify the reasons why the thing or the person has upset us, and then choose how we'd like to respond. Instead of going with the automatic reaction of fighting and arguing, of flighting and ignoring, of freezing and feeling powerless, or not knowing what to do. And sometimes things do cause us to feel negatively, or the way we think and what it means about us make us feel terrible. But there is also one way that we can choose to respond. We can choose to delay our response intentionally. We can choose to delay our observations and thoughts and feelings of it intentionally. It's not dissociating and making a life habit of it, where we just block everything and we feel nothing. Negative, neutral and good, we feel nothing. No, it's intentionally choosing when to process and how to respond. And if you are feeling that we keep on reacting and we're getting more and more depleted, one option could be to choose to process something that might be perceived as negative. We might choose to process that at another time. We might look at it and our automatic reaction might be, this is bad. And we might have all sorts of feelings, from anger to concern, from frustration, annoyance, to worry, to overwhelm, negativity. We can choose to decide when we'd like to process and look at it. Now, this can be helpful when the situation is not appropriate, that we might have an emotional reaction. For instance, place of work or a public space where we might need to be more contained in the way that we express ourselves in dissatisfaction. Or perhaps before bedtime, because getting upset over something will definitely makes us feel worse. Our body will overreact and will go into overdrive with the stress hormones and cortisol and norepinephrine, and that will keep us alert, and that will contribute towards insomnia. Other times that we might want to defer our reaction could be because something else is at stake that we need to focus our energy. Might be timing or something else. It's not the time or place to have an emotional meltdown. But intrusive thoughts of what if, or this is bad, or this is unfair, or I'm upset, will be quite intrusive, and our brain needs an answer. And perhaps normally you would have gone with the automatic reaction, but now we are choosing to defer that reaction. We are intentionally choosing because we want to protect our energy levels, meaning I'm already feeling very low in energy. I'm going to choose not to let this upset me because I wish to preserve the little energy that I have for my body to heal and repair, or for me to focus and do the things that are important, that I need to do, that are in line with my values and my goals. And those things could be simple things such as making sure that we have energy to look after ourselves, cooking a meal, eating healthy, having gentle exercise so we release the tension and increase our motivation and energy, spending time quietening the mind so we can feel better and sleep better, so we can choose and we can tell our brain, this is important and this seems to be upsetting, but in this moment I choose to put this to one side and look at it and review it in a week's time. In a week's time, or whatever long you wish to look at it, could be the following day, in a week's time, in a month's time. You're giving a little space. In a week or month, I'll look at it objectively, rationally. And I look at it at the pros and cons for the moment, mid and long term. And I look at the options available to me and how to resolve, either to accept or to address it, or to modify, or finding a way of coping with it. But I'm choosing to look at it in a week's time, or in the morning, or when I feel better, or when I have more energy, or when I have a good night's sleep. And by giving ourselves permission, number one, we're not using as an excuse not to address it, or to feel it, or to notice, but giving ourselves permission to be respectful of our limits, so that we don't cause bigger problems for ourselves and others. We also might find that by giving a little space and time, when we are more rested, we might see things in a different light. Perhaps something might look as bleak and black and dark and heavy, might have different shades of grey and not be as perceived harmful. When we might see that we can't cope, in the light of day we might see it that we will be able to cope. And sometimes things just resolve themselves and fall into place. So we're not adding to the problem, we're not creating extra suffering for ourselves unnecessarily. We're not choosing to ignore, and when our brain reminds us with the intrusive thoughts and repetition, we can just say, I'm choosing to look at it rationally, the good and the bad, and how to address it and solve it to the best of my ability in a week's time. And when that intrusive thought comes up again, we remind our brain, thanks for the reminder, I understand it's important, I choose to look at it in a week's time. And then I'm going to put this on the folder of to be processed in a week's time or later on. And we are creating a little buffer of time. And sometimes that is enough for us to continue with the steps that we need to look after ourselves, to protect our energy, to get more sleep, to get more rest, so that we can be in a better position to make better decisions. Because when we overreact automatically, very often we are creating extra suffering for us unnecessarily. Then we choose to look at it and address it if the problem is still there. Sometimes things resolve itself, and sometimes you look at it with different light and feel it. This is no longer worth my time and energy. Or I wish to use my time and energy to focus on my goals. And say if the problem has been caused by someone else's, might look at it as a reflection on them. And we might choose how we wish to address this. Ignore, accept it, address it, ask for help. So we're giving ourselves permission. We are saving our energy, we're preserving our energy. We might have a automatic impulse, an automatic reaction. And perhaps in the past we would have gone for the kill, gone to address it in this red minute. But when we look at something, we don't know if it's good or bad. And often what is perceived to be bad in a moment, mid, long term, and given passage of time, given a period of time, given perspective in a lifetime, we're going to look back and look at it. Yes, it was challenging, but we managed to find solutions and ways to cope and manage. And as a result, we became more resilient, stronger, or have better habits. So let's have courage to be patient, not to be passive and not address things, but to choose our timing. Choose our timing for our benefit, for the benefit of the best possible solution. However, if you are not physically safe, remove yourself immediately from the situation. Seek help. If you're not emotionally safe, seek help as well and find ways to increase your safety. And one way to increase our safety is to make sure that we look after ourselves, so we are in a better position to make better decisions. Serious? Love from my heart. Big hug. Give yourself permission to put it to one side, and you can even communicate. What you have done has hurt me, and I'm upset, but I'm going to choose to put this to one side and look at it when I have more time and energy, when I've had some rest. In a week's time, I will think about it, I will address it. Can even tell the person, I will come to you when I'm ready. And then honoring that and actually coming to the person and trying to resolve. Love, love, love. I sincerely hope that you find this tiny little suggestion, it's only a suggestion, helpful. And I hope that your energy levels and mood improve so that you can respond in a more helpful way. But use whatever help is available to you so you can feel more empowered and that you know you are on the way to solving, to feeling better, to creating the life that you want to live, in line with the values you want to have. Remember, what's more empowering? Automatically reaction with an automatic reaction that we might regret, that we might feel ashamed afterwards, that we've learned and absorbed from others that didn't know any better, or to create a response that we wish to, that is more in line with those values and the person we want to be. Knowing how to respond rather than blindly respond. often you considered response instead of an automatic response that could be fueled by mistakes and errors and misunderstandings. We're all human and we're capable of getting it right, but also often we get it wrong. And sometimes we do create our suffering unnecessarily or extra suffering. Bye for now.